Now, obviously, my site deals with creativity. That's kind of like the main thrust of it. Now, how are you all going to build this in terms of consciously trying to get infuse this mentality of making sure that these kids have creativity as part of their arsenal in terms of their toolkit?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a design advisory. The design advisory is our is sort of a central component to the school day, and the creativity is really fostered there through design challenges. Kids see problems, and then they approach them, using the design thinking approach, and we're really going to be pushing them to think creatively. Not just, I think sometimes we think of creativity as sort of the purview of the arts, and that's it. But really, we're looking for them to be creative in the STEM disciplines, in engineering, in humanities, in communications, and all kinds of different ways. So I think that's the main place. But even a lot of our assessments in the actual content courses will require some creative thinking.
And I think, like Nicole said, there are a lot of ways to be creative. And so we think every student has that power
Yeah.
to be creative. It'll just look differently based on the discipline. And that's also where we diverge from a lot of schools. Because a lot of people say, well, it's this project-based learning. You give them a project and things like that. It's like, no, I mean, with us, they have to design their own project. We're not running them through simulations and projects that the teachers create. The students have to be able to define the problem. And that's a key part of being creative. So that's the design process is really the main vehicle for that. But it's definitely not teacher-created projects.
And last series of questions here, and I really appreciate all the thought that you've put into this idea because it's really fantastic. Half the battle, I think, is teachers, or more than half the battle. Where are you going to get these teachers from? Because it's going to
I
take
think
a particular kind of teacher to be able to thrive.
Right. Well, I mean, our ideal teacher and our ideal student is somebody who thinks that the world can be better and they can be the ones to make it happen. Like if they have that mindset, then I think we'll be able to teach whatever skills. But I really think that a lot of teachers, that what we've been seeing, a lot of teachers are very open to this because they've gone through the last 15, 20 years of here are the standards, teach these exact standards, here's the exact assessment. And it's very freeing to think like this, design thinking is empathy based. So it's very freeing to think, well, let's look at this other kind of data we can use, not student test results. Like let's talk about student experiences. Let's talk about our experiences, which is still, it's important data, but it's been completely pushed out of the educational process. So I think that we'll definitely have enough teachers. But that's also why we want to train our own.
Makes
Also,
sense.
because we think some people will have a certain way of doing things, and we don't necessarily, because it'll require entirely different mindset, that we also want to be able to bring our own teachers along.